big three space sims of the new generation. Kind of. Well, there really isn't distinction between generations, so... whatever. The three most prominent space sims of recent times. Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky, and Star Citizen. Which one's the best, prettiest, interesting, etc.? This question I'll try to answer and stay as objective as I can. That is, not give any of these any kind of preference. Then, after thinking for 10 seconds, I realized that there would be still people from all three fandoms that would call me a fanboy of the other two. So why did I even bother saying that? Oh well. So immediately, I dropped to my knees and prayed to RNGesus for the order in which I should look at them. As it happens, the first one is Elite Dangerous. Well, okay, alphabetically it's also the first, so... Now, first things first, I play this one the most, as it is the primary focus of my content these days. But if you think that I give this game a pass for being shit... they would only wish. Because I've been observing this thing for a long time and have more in-depth look. I'm actually a lot harsher towards it, so let's delve into the shit pile that is Elite. First things first, the game was kickstarted in 2012, and after a year or so it came out in beta state, and after another year it was released as a full game. Now, the base game these days is priced around $30 on the Steam with Season Pass / expansion / DLC / Unholy Afterbirth called Horizons for another $30. The game itself tries to be realistic, but at the same time employing some arcade-style mechanics, and to be honest, while it hurts the super realistic immersion lovers, for ease of use it works wonders, and even back in the day when I picked up the game without changing the default controls, it was rather easy to get used to all the controls. This one aspect I absolutely love about Elite. Mind you, then again I use keyboard and mouse, not HOTAS. But if I have to name the best thing about Elite Dangerous, it would definitely be sound design and music, which to this day I really still enjoy, especially honking everything. But just like many bass players, Elite knows only one tone and one tone alone, and that's super serious time for serious things that are so serious. There literally are no moments of levity or comedy in this game. Unintentional comedy? Yes, like putting a fucking spoiler on a space brick! But intentional humorous and funny moments are really something that Elite knows not of. As for gameplay, well, it's solid, if modestly demanding on GPU side, but overall most of the gameplay aspects work rather well. Unless there are more than 10 players in one instance. Problems though begin when you look at such aspects as balancing, especially with engineering. Oh, and hey, if you want to be competitive in PvP, then you must get the Horizons expansion DLC pass abortion. Unless of course you want to be used as a flashlight by everyone and their dogs. On top of that, the co-op side of the game is rather weak, as the main reason you do things in this game is to earn money, and really only combat used to benefit from this. Now, with few additions to give players co-op missions, as well as the squadron thing that will probably be coming out later this year, devs are working to provide us with more opportunities to form a proper circle jerk. Still, alone or with a friend or a group, you'll be pulling that joystick extensively, as the biggest issue with the game is in its design philosophy, or at least part of it, which thinks that it's okay to have free-to-play grind in a premium game. That is, a game that you have to pay for first. Seriously, those of you coming from free-to-play games will probably feel at home, as the in-game economy and pricing as well as rewards for a lot of things are pretty bad. Oh, and such things as time sinks where you repeat a task just to unlock the ability to purchase something or use something are plentiful, i.e. faction rank systems, tech broker, and to some degree engineers themselves. So unless you're ready to grind a game like ladies grind a pole in the red light district, don't expect to get the biggest baddest ships anytime soon. Oh, and as for the last thing, microtransactions. Yes, this is a huge thing now. Seriously. I started making videos for Elite slightly more than a year ago, and online store in that time has expanded beyond belief. Every week they pump out some new cosmetics, and while there are no pay-to-win things, the rampant increase is dreadful to look at from artistic perspective. I know very well that this is the main source of income for the game these days, and I do pick up from time to time some cosmetics myself, mostly because something stupid has been released, and for that, oddly, I want to just support devs. The next is No Man's Sky, the rather controversial title upon release that got somewhat redeemed after some patching and improving.
Will you be able to play with your friends? Yeah.
Can you run into other people, other players on the game?
Yes, but the chances of that are incredibly rare, just because of the size of what we're building.
Yeah, that game. Anyways, how is it today? Well, to be honest, with slightly more stuff to do, but pretty much the same. In a gist, No Man's Sky is the most casual game of today's biopsy patients. That's pretty much the best way I can describe No Man's Sky. A super casual space sim, or space sim light, or baby's first boom boom. Does it mean it's a bad game? No, not really. I enjoy a walking simulator. But seriously though, there is no competitive aspect in this game, and when it comes to online play, well, you can see other people build bases and download blueprints from Steam workshops, but that's about it. So in short, Sean lied. Yes, he lied about the features in the game while smiling like he shat himself. No one will forget that, but if we take away the stupid promises and expectations, how is the game on its own? Well, it's as easy or hard as you want it to be. The hardcore mode is stupidly annoying with resource management, but it's a challenge, while the baby mode is good for just enjoying your time sitting on the toilet and taking a shit. Oh my fucking god, shut the fuck up! Now, the most annoying part for me wasn't the FPS mechanics or the stupid tile loading dissolve that just made the game look like utter garbage. No, it was the flight model. Not only is hand-holding preventing you mostly from ramming the planet, but it also can't be fully remapped, as the settings do not allow it. Oh, and here's another thing, the constant cutscene-like moments when saving the game on beacons or reaching one of those arbitrary milestones that prevent you from using the escape button or other little things will get on your nerves rather quickly. As for sound design, well, it's very unimpressive and mediocre at best. I will genocide all of you! Most of what I see in this game is just a lot of mediocre stuff, and while sure, you can say that this game was made by a small team, but really, it's not the customer's job to give a fuck. Sure, a small team can make a good game that puts them big boys in place, but is this one of them? No, absolutely not. As for some of the other good bits, well, obviously it can be relaxing and therapeutic to just run around and frolic with them critters. Die! 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 Obviously, the main attraction here would be the easy gameplay and super vibrant colors that would make you question whether or not everyone in the dev team was a clown, that instead of writing code or drawing and animating, just threw up on the keyboard. While some people really hate it or love it, I personally enjoy it, but not as much as some others. Still, I can see beauty in it. Oh, and one more thing. The fucking game is so consolified with its interface and controls that it's disgusting for a PC Master Race member like myself. Anyways, last but not least, well, maybe, is Star Citizen, the game that has raked in the most crowd-funded cash in the history of gaming, and the only one that still, to this day, hasn't even come out of alpha state. Some would say that it's not fair for me to compare these games, but try as you might, you can't deny that all three of them appeared around in the same time and rejuvenated the space sim genre or subgenre in mid-2010s, and for that it's important to take a look at as to how they have turned out after a few years. Now, at the time of making, the project named Star Citizen is being still crowdfunded with about 170 million raked in over 4 years since its original Kickstarter. By the way, isn't it interesting that Elite Dangerous also opened its Kickstarter a few months apart from Star Citizen, yet one of them has come out for a good 3 years already. Anyway, Star Citizen currently is in alpha 3 point whatever stage, and what mostly this project is known for is the high quality textures, models, and enormous vision and promises for the finished product. Whenever you hear people talk about this thing, you usually hear the words graphics, depth, vision, and potential being thrown around like there's no tomorrow, in some vague hopes to make you agree with the one who says it. Oh, and yes, from now on, I won't be calling Star Citizen a game here, for obvious reasons. In all fairness, the ship design and level of detail put on them is impressive. The visuals are nice in that science fantasy kind of way, and most of all, you have something in Star Citizen that for Elite Dangerous was heavily hinted at only.
And in it was an amazing orbital station that you could walk around. And I used to dream as a kid of being able to do that. And finally, I might soon be able to do such a thing in one of our amazing orbit stations. So that's what I'm looking forward to in the future for the game.
But is yet to be ever mentioned again, and that is the FPS model. The ability to walk around your ship, outside of it, and so on. Now, to tell you the truth, before I got the chance to test out what Chris and company made, what I wanted to see was a contender for Elite. Someone that would compete with it for the top spot, forcing both parties to innovate and deliver content for, well, players, us. Just so Elite wouldn't get the space sim monopoly. But then, when I first picked it up, I was in shock how poor the performance was, how barely anything worked right, and how little there actually was to play. I mean, test. Frankly, the racing and combat minigames, if you can call them that, were probably the most polished part of the project, and in all fairness, I do like the flight model and mechanics in Star Citizen. No. Still, it's not enough to convince me that there is something special about this project. All you get is a pretty slideshow. I shit you not, that's how bad the performance is. But of course, in screenshots, it looks amazing. Plus, if you got the beast PC, then you might get those 60 FPS, and then you can go and show off your pre-footage. Yet the biggest turnoff for me came when I looked at how developers present the project and how much effort goes into PR. The constant promising of new features and mechanics was just disgusting. Oh, we promise you this, and oh, there's so much more. Promises. Sure, they might come out someday, but at this point, it's just a lot of hyping up. Then of course you can't escape the last nail in the coffin for me, and that is the online store. I don't know how to even describe this. A pay-to-win Kickstarter? Or is it more like Avarice, the online store? Man, it's just so weird for me to see how much stuff is being offered to people for a product that still isn't finished. See, Chris and company are offering you to buy these ships, packages, and fucking land insurance forms already. So they expect someone to actually buy them. If they don't expect or want anyone to buy them, do you think they would still be offered? No, it's just really disgusting way of running crowd-funded project. I mean, come on, if you want to see a decently run crowd-funded project, look at my own Patreon. But seriously, so there are people I know who had spent $1,000 on this thing, and you know when and if this game is ever released. Those who had bought these packages of all the ships and whatnot else will have an upper hand over everyone else. Now, regardless how you look at it, Star Citizen doesn't look good. Sure, it's not as bad as banking on nostalgia, but this is a different kind of sleaze in my eyes. I believe in crowdfunding as it has provided a lot of wonderful creators with support for making something great. But the impact this project might have might be catastrophic. I wish for a good game. I wish for someone to kick Elite Dangerous's teeth in. But will Star Citizen be the one? At least in the next 2-3 years? I highly doubt it. Oh, and in case you still want to support Star Citizen, do it. I'm not telling you you shouldn't support or help a project that you believe in. I personally haven't gotten my refund back because I still want to see where it goes. I guess there's still hope, but it's fading fast. So my greatest wish for Star Citizen would be to have it prove me wrong. Now then, in the end, which one of the trio is the best? To be honest, it was rather obvious already, but when you compare and contrast things, even from financial perspective, Elite Dangerous is just the best here. The base game is half the price of Star Citizen entry-level package or No Man's Sky, and as is, it's quite enjoyable. Plus the Horizons expansion shitfest whatever just adds more stuff. Plus this is also the only game that has a demo, so you can pick it up before buying. But fair warning, it's very, very out of date. No Man's Sky, on the other hand, would be worth it for about half the price, so if you can catch it on some kind of a, I don't know, sale or something, yeah, if you really want to go for it. It certainly can be a little pick up and play relaxing game despite some annoyances. As for Star Citizen, well, if you are short on cash, maybe buying something that you can actually play right now would be a better choice. Oh, and unfortunately there is the real risk of project running bankrupt before the release, so consider that. Now, of course, there are a lot more details to discuss, I know, but I'm not ready to make a feature-length movie about it. Still, feel free to discuss it in the comments. I'd like to know what you think of these games. Even though I have all 3 games and I can sort of directly compare them, even if you have just one of them, feel free to toss in your ideas. So, unless you're ready to grind the game like ladies grind the pole in the red light dicks, yes, yep, there you go. Most of what I see in this game is just a lot of mediocre stuff, and while sure, you can say that a small team made this Yamiks brain turn off.
Attention. Magic track and conserve queuing system when exiting the station.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, best animation ever. Oh yeah. Splat. Yep, that's the multi-crew these days. No one's using it. Okay, attempt number 4. Let's see exactly how long does it take. Unless, of course, it breaks again. Yep, that's your typical Star Citizen experience, ladies and gentlemen. Space Jesus fucking Christ, this is just abysmal. 2, 3 frames. Do we get 4? Yes, we get 4, 5, 6. We get 7? Yes, we get 7. 8? Yes, and 9 and 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, almost 14. Do we get 14? Come on. No, back to 6. No, back to 5, 6. Oh, well. Oh, and also, here's another pet peeve. Why do I always need to turn off the motion blur? Can't the game remember this? As it remembers everything else? Well, what? I teabagged and died? Moving on then. Wait. Did he faint from teabagging? You're kidding me, right? No way. That's stupidly awesome.